Homesick. Being homesick and living in your car, or just getting homesick in general, is what I want to address in this video. It came up last night on my live feed. Every night I go live on YouTube. I welcome you to join. You subscribe to the channel and you join in at night. And one of the viewers, his tag name on YouTube is Woohoo. He recently got in his car and he relocated from Michigan and he went down to San Diego. That was his dream. And he's just about, at his destination in San Diego from what it sounds like. But he had said that he was feeling a little homesick. And I relate to that, and I talked about it a little bit last night, but I wanted to make a video to expand on it. I think in life, what I've experienced, growing up in New Jersey, and as I got older and I started to travel around the country, mainly up and down the East Coast, once I would get an hour, 2 hours away from the area that I grew up in, or the area that, my mom was in or people I knew, I started to feel homesick. When you move away, even if it's for a temporary basis, when you move away from your familiar settings, the familiar grocery stores, the familiar people, the familiar roads, as you move away, further and further away, you start to feel homesick. That homesick is a discomfort. The discomfort of change, of the unknown surroundings, of the unknown environment, of you're out here alone. And so that's a very powerful emotion. Almost a strong enough emotion to bring you back to your original place that you left. And in many cases, it does bring people back to their home. Even for me, a couple times when I had first started to drive to Florida, I would leave New Jersey. I would get to Baltimore, Maryland. And even a couple times I turned around and I went back to New Jersey because I was like, it's too far. It's just too much. It's too overwhelming. You get homesick. You don't get homesick necessarily because you miss your home. You get homesick because you miss the comfortable feeling of knowing the roads, knowing the people, being around family members, even if you don't spend most of your time with your family members. There's a discomfort in change. There's a certain emotional wall that you have to break through in order to get to your dream life or your new life or your new destination. And life requires it. Your destiny requires it. You have to go to the unknown. And you're going to feel homesick. And like me, it may take a couple times where you have to leave, come back, and then say, you know what? I'm not missing anything at home. The same thing's happening day in, day out, the same people. And you even have to get to a point mentally where if you love and respect your family members and friends, you have a thing in your mind that what if they pass away? What if they need me or something like that? If you have lived a life well and you have spent quality time with your friends and family, you can't live in a safe bubble. They may pass away. You may pass away. You may get in a car accident, God forbid. Something may happen to them. I mean, you could always come back if there was an emergency. And even if something happened, you can't live your life in guilt and fear. Again, if you respected your loved ones and they have respected you, and equal respect means you give each other the freedom to live. I don't believe, unless someone is really in dire straits where they need you, and that's very rare, I don't think we live a well life. I don't think we live life when we just stay in an area until someone dies. Okay, I'm going to stay in my hometown until my parents die, until this person, because, I don't want to leave them. I've certainly known people that passed, and once in a while someone passes quickly and unexpectedly. But also I've known when people pass, many times it's long and drawn out. And before you know it, you're an old person. You have to live your life. And what I've experienced in life is people who love you, they want you to live your life. And when there's that freedom, then you stay in touch, and you have, you don't lose touch, you stay in touch. And that kind of helps with the homesick, because part of the homesick is a level of guilt mixed in with fear. Your fear of the unknown, your fear of the discomfort of not knowing your environment, and then the guilt of you're leaving people behind or you're leaving something behind. This is all part of being homesick. And what I'm telling you in life is you have to overcome this to become an adult. A young man or young woman or old man or old woman, doesn't matter. An adult, a person who is seeking their destiny, has a level of their journey they go alone. And not alone to the extent like, they're abandoning people, but alone to the extent of, for you to grow, for you to experience life, you push past a level of this homesick. Of course, many people who, go to college, speak about this being homesick and different things like that. And, but you got to do what you got to do. You got to get your education. I mean, you got to go experience new jobs. You got to go experience new cities. Without that, you could also, instead of homesick, you can be resentful. That's the opposite of being homesick. You stay around an area that doesn't inspire you, and then you become resentful. Or you stay in an area because you don't want to get homesick, and then you don't grow. You don't fulfill your destiny. So this is part of that mindset. And this is part of what you're going to experience as you grow in life. And even if you decide, to go to a new area, to go to a new state, to go to a new environment, to go to a new job, and you don't like it, you've really tried it, and you say, you know what, I really like it at home better, then you go back home. Can you go back home? I know it's different. You can never go back home. I mean, you go back home, but when you go back home, you'll realize two things, in my opinion, in my experience. You realize, one, you ain't missing shit. Two is either not much has changed or everything has changed. Meaning not much has changed as far as, people kind of still doing the same thing they do everywhere, working, going to grocery stores back and forth. There's not anything magical happening back home. And two is things have changed as far as people have moved on with their life. Sometimes people move back to their home state, back to their hometown, because they want to be around certain people. And then those people they want to be around, they say, you know what, I just got a new job in a different state, I'm moving. Or we decided to sell our house and move to here. And then you're like, oh shit, I just came back because I wanted to be around certain people. And now they're going out there and they're fulfilling their destiny and they're going to leave me. People are doing them. You got to do you. And homesick is a wall, an emotional wall that on your journey, you're going to have to break through. And that's what I want to share in this video.